Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm trying to change my content a bit and I don't know if it's working or not, but from now on I will be here, but you would not know me if you saw me out there in the public. And now isn't that fantastic? Damn it, these glasses are getting foggy. Alright, either way. Mask is not a good idea, but hey, privacy at best. Either way, so if you are subscribed to the channel, I recently did a few streams. Damn these glasses. Alright, I recently did a few streams, 2 days, about modding Minecraft. The first day and the second day. But if you clicked on the video, you'd know that I wrote day 1 and that is 100% clickbait. You fell for it. Alright, either way, so I kinda came in fresh on learning Minecraft. Alright, so yeah, basically I came in fresh. I did not know much. I knew Java. I know how to program in Java. I know a few bit of advanced Java as well. So it was kinda easy for me to get into it. But a lot of variables related to Forge were completely unknown to me. So I was basically coming fresh for the Minecraft. I knew what had to be done. I read a few docs. I kinda created, I took the Forge mod, MDK, and kinda added a few variables to check how it works and I got around the ropes a bit. And if you were in the stream, you know that I kinda learned from the scratch. So at the end of the stream, I had created a mod which had about let's see, what did it have? Yeah, the mod had about 5 weapons, 5 tools, let's say. Yeah, 5 tools, a block, ore, and an item. So let's quickly get to it. This was a 8-hour stream, mind you, and I've compiled it down to be under 30 minutes. Let's see how long this voiceover goes, but I don't mind the mess back there. I kind of got a few things figured out. There's a light source up here, so that might look weird. There's a light source right here. I created my own. You know, I know about computers, so slight bit about electricity, I guess. And these glasses still. Okay, either way. So yeah, let's get to the video. So as we begin, I really like to tell you that I do not know much about modding, and I basically was coming in fresh. I might keep on doing this because I'm pressing space. So yeah, before we started, I really wanted to set the mood. So I went to Wallpaper Engine and got the best Minecraft wallpaper I could. It was a redstone clock. I might leave the link. And next I did was download Forge, because you need Forge to mod in Forge. And I downloaded an IDE, obviously. IDE, if you do not know, is Integrated Development Environment. And I chose IntelliJ here, which is a really good Java integrated development environment. The best thing about IntelliJ is it autofills your code, imports what needs to be imported, and you can view most of the sources fairly easily. So yeah, I think it's called IntelliSense, that thing it does. So either way, I downloaded IntelliJ and I got to it. And so the next thing I needed was like an idea for the mod. I asked like the 4 people or 3 people at the time who were watching the stream, what should I make? And one of the suggestions was make the hot thoughts layer. I probably should not do that in the first stream, I said to him. And once again, I went back to Wallpaper Engine, where I found a perfect wallpaper of 2 Witcher swords. So yeah, seeing the Witcher sword gave me an idea, so I began making that. So I named the project file Witcher, as I got the inspiration. So I created a new project file, I named it Witcher, and took all the Forge stuff into it. And then inside there is a build.gradle file, which basically provides the development environment, the IDE, IntelliJ in our case, whatever we need to make the program. So I basically went ahead and went into the build.gradle file, and everywhere, anywhere there was written mod ID or example mod, I replaced it with Witcher, and the vendor name I replaced it with myself. I did not dare to touch the Forge stuff because Yeah, I want it to run, surely. I don't want it to mess it up like that bad. So I quickly edited all the stuff and saved the, oh boy, saved the builder Gradle. And next I did was open the project in, using the builder Gradle, I opened it in the IntelliJ. And in IntelliJ, what we did was first, before the project initially lets us do stuff, the IntelliJ IDE has to import everything that the project requires. Like, that is basically, it downloads like a full version of Minecraft with all the assets, decompiled version, basically, decompiled by Forge, and every other API that is required to make a mod, and every other API that Minecraft used, I think. Excuse me, I ate a lot. And so the next thing, while it happened, I decided to edit the mods.toml file. The toml file here basically provides information to Minecraft, like our mod ID, my developer ID, I think, which is Hot Eyes in this case, and the mod description and everything related to the mod, as well as a PNG logo file, which I did not provide because, you know, it's an example mod. I don't want like to release it or anything, but if you want me to release it, I'll probably publish it on GitHub. Leave a message down there in the comments. So either way, I edited the mod.toml, replacing every mod ID I found with Witcher. And now I had to introduce Witcher as the mod ID, otherwise everything I did would not work. So I went to the main class file and added a string called mod ID and named it Witcher. And next I did was an annotation called mod and specified that the mod ID that would be used would be Witcher mod, the Witcher mod ID. Yeah. So next what we had to do was create, I learned a few things. The first thing I learned was you had to create a registrar to register the item, registry objects of the items. That is initially how you put the items in the game. So first thing I did was to get into making like the default registrar in our case, which is the registration thing, basically, which provides the registration mostly. So here I use is default registrar for the block class, register blocks, and same for the items as well. So I basically went ahead and created a registrar method, which would be later on called by the main method to access all the registry items. So after I did that, I created a new class called items. A class is basically, you know what? It's been quite long since I learned what a class is. Google it yourself. Alright, basically I created a class called items. And in the class, I added a registry object for an item. So the registry object, as I said, is what provides the item's details. Oh well, I pressed Alt in Premiere. Alright, so I created a registry object for item, having to provide it with a name and a supplier. A name and a supplier, I think. So I provided with a name and supplier basically providing it the item properties, specifying which tab it would go in. And I called the registry method, and then this happened. I tried to run the program, but the dumb little me did not, not little, the dumb big me, okay, my dumb ass, okay, it basically decided to start modding without even downloading Java into the computer. Basically, you need a different version of Java to run Minecraft and different version of Java to develop Minecraft, and it mods. What you need is a Java development kit. What you run Minecraft with is the Java runtime environment. I only had the Java runtime environment, did not have the development kit, because this was the first time I was programming on Windows on my PC. I usually do it on Mac, on my laptop. So many things were new. The chat taught me a lot. And I installed the same version of Java as the runtime environment from Oracle, where I would like to promptly send a message to Oracle. What the fuck, guys? You used to be easy to work with. Everything was easy. You could just download the JDK easily without having to create an account by filling the longest form in the world. God damn it, why the fuck do you need all my details, like which company I work in? I don't work in any company, I work for myself. I am a student. How the fuck would I provide that? So I just promptly wrote Oxford and sent it, and they accepted it. Dumbasses. As if I would qualify to work for Oxford. Alright, either way. After that, I downloaded the version matching my JRE. I keep on looking that side because I am not used to this, and that is what the screen is. Alright, so I downloaded the JRE and the JDK, and the problem was fixed. Phew, I'd like to say. And after that, I tried to run it again, and this time Minecraft loaded up fairly easily. I created a single player mod and started loading the game up. I spawned in the jungle biome, which is the most rare biome you can spawn in, I believe. So yeah, I was fascinated by it. Without even checking for if my items were in the game, I started running around playing Minecraft. Which, I mean, I've done many times, but it's always nostalgic to start, and I felt. So either way, I just went ahead and found this broken nether portal. I believe that block was called the Weeping Obsidian, I think. So I took one for myself. Got an achievement as well. And after that, my dumbass forgot how to check. And then only I started checking. My item was in the game. So I promptly stopped doing what I was doing. And went back to coding. But before I could go there, the fire was ravaging everywhere. And I thought a cow or a sheep was in the jungle eating grass. So yeah, that just happened. Alright, so the next thing I was doing is creating a weapon. So for a weapon, you need an item tier, which would provide the weapon's basic details. So I created a class for the weapon tier, providing all the override methods, and I created a constant called Silver Sword in our case, because I got the inspiration from it. Provided its uses, speed, enchantment, repair ingredient, and everything. And then I created the sword item class, which would register our sword actually, and created a registry object for the sword, Silver Sword, providing its base damage and base speed, as well as which tab it would go in. So I basically did that, indented it, and so yeah, we ran it, and now we have the sword in the game. Sorry, we did not have the sword in the game first. Now we have the sword in the game, which my dumbass forgot how to check. There it is, the Witcher sword, Witcher Silver Sword actually. Then I added a few more weapons. One was Gilded Sword. I wanted to check if I could create an item with already existing ingredients in the game, which worked out without a flaw. So I created a Gilded Iron Sword, basically. I only wrote Gilded Sword, and a Silver Battle Axe, and a Silver Axe, and a Silver Hoe, which was the most powerful weapon out of them all. You know, just for shits and giggles. Alright, either way, so I did the same thing as I did for the Silver Sword, for all of them. And finally, all of my items were in the game. Or so would I think. Until I run Minecraft, I would not know that I had made a fatal error and Minecraft did not load up. I basically called the hoe an axe, so there were two silver axes, so fix that, and now we had the hoe in the game and every other weapon. The hoe was the most overpowered, so I had to think about it early on. So the next thing I wanted to create were blocks. So same thing as I did for the items, I created a registry object for the block. And since I would be registering multiple blocks, I created a few classes to provide all the items, all the details needed for the block. For you non-programmers out there, I basically created classes, methods, which will provide the detail to the registration object. So it's a long short way of doing it, but I would be able to register multiple blocks at the same time. So it's worth it, you know. So I did that, and I basically registered it, and the first one I registered was silver ore, and the second one I just copied it and called it a silver block. The silver ore had the materialistic properties of a stone, and the sound when it broke of a stone, sound when punched, sound when walked, sound when broken. It would basically play the stone breaking or stone walking on sounds. So the next thing, for the silver block, I basically provided all the sounds for heavy metals like iron block, gold block, and all that. So after that was done, I loaded it up and went into the same world, and again I got lost and started playing. Found this jungle temple out of nowhere. which is also very rare. This seed was awesome. I found a spider and a skeleton fighting inside this, and I could not fit in because I'm not used to creative mode, and flying in creative mode, I should add. So I just found my blocks which were in building blocks, and oh wait, they were not? Okay, I had to take multiple tries then. This is new to me. I already did it, but yeah, I forgot to call it. I forgot to call how it. I forgot to tell the game to load it. Children don't do that. Alright, so now it was in the game. You could hear the spiders and skeleton walking in the background. Soon they would start fighting, and I do not care much. So I just started placing my blocks, which were basically placeholders at the moment, and yeah, that was it. I broke a place and got fired on. So next I would do is add the textures to all the items that I had created. So for that I would need to provide a data generator. A data generator, for all you modders out there, I don't think people who don't mod would understand it much. Basically a data generator would generate a JSON file which consisted of all the properties, like which texture it would use, or not all modders, all programmers. Alright, normal people also. It would just provide the game. It would just let the game know which pictures to load for the textures of the item, as well as the blocks. And the recipes for the item it would just provide to the game. So that's all you need to know. But in fact, it is actually creating a different file. It's a file generator basically, rather than a data generator, which would generate a JSON file. Sorry for the low noise. I have to boost it then. Alright, either way. So I just created an item model provider after I created the data generator, which would provide the game with the item models of the items that I already had. Sorry, this was coming loose. Alright, so I provided the item models to the game. So I created an item model builder, and I provided it with a parent item. Usually you need that for an item to work. And I provided with the name of silver ingot, and I had to create a file. So I quickly hopped into GIMP and started creating, basically modifying and pre-existing iron ingot into silver ingot by changing its color palette. At the end, it actually ended up looking really nice. I actually like it a lot. I do not know why I decided to go with blue. Silver is never blue, actually. Don't fall for that misconception, I guess. And as I was doing that, I thought I would use the same color scheme on the iron ore to make the silver ore as well. So I quickly started doing that by plopping down the same color scheme as the iron ingot, silver ingot, and I had to go in and check if those were loaded in the game. I basically placed them into the game folder and told the game to look for it in that path. And now I had them in my hotbar, so I had to place them. Now, as you can see, if you heard that, it played the sound of a stone block being placed, which is the use of specifying that it had the properties of stone. And basically, now, honestly, looking back at it, it looks fucking awesome. I am proud of myself for doing that, even though I just changed the color scheme of an already existing block. Shut up, I'm proud of myself, okay? So I just threw it on the ground and went far to have a look at it. Enjoy it, alright. And the next thing, I didn't have time to rest. I looked for a Witcher sword on Google Images, found this, but thought this one would be a lot easier to make, and I found this derp from the Netflix series. So basically, what I am doing here is like providing it with a neutral background so that I can see what I'm doing. Providing divider lines, which will let me know where the center is, so I could immediately start working on the sword. I used the same color palette as I used for the silver ingot, and tried to copy the Witcher sword as much as I could. It did not end up looking good this time, so I will come back to this later on. It looked like it was snapped from the middle, which is definitely not the look I want. I want it to look proper, and it also looks really fat at this one. This model looks really fat, but still I had to check if it would work, and I just wrote the code for it and hopped into Minecraft and decided to test it out, you should say. Oh, sorry, I forgot to speak. Either way, I got the sword in the game. And with the sword in the game, you know, it's really hard to commentate over non-coding stuff. In coding, I can explain what I'm doing. Here, I don't even know what I'm doing. So, I basically now went ahead to create the silver blocks using the same color scheme as the silver ingot and overlaying it over the iron ingot. So, basically made it and sent it to the game. Wrote a few lines of code for it, the same as before, and now loaded Minecraft up after generating the data. And now it was also in the game, so it was already in my hotbar. So, you know, my dumbass decided to cover the whole side of the mountain with this block. I mean, not gonna lie, it kind of looks really good though. I would build my house out of it if I was a 11-year-old. Alright, so now the rest, this was like a day after the stream. So now I was just creating the rest of the textures for the other weapons that are also in the game, such as the battle axe, the hoe, the axe, the gilded sword, so as well as the silver sword, which I had messed up the previous day. Alright, so I was doing the same thing as before. This time I wanted to make it a lot more thinner, and I didn't want it to snap at the top. It would obviously snap because it's a 64 by 64 canvas. It would snap at some point, but this time I made it snap at the guard. So it kind of looked a lot more better than before, and it was a lot more thinner than before, which made it look a lot more better. So after doing that, I decided to do the same thing by overlaying the gold over it and kind of using the same template for the gilded sword as well. I kind of wanted to make it look a bit regal, as if a king would use it, and it was successful. The next thing I wanted to create was a silver axe. So I basically drew a pattern. I was playing a music, so the awkward noise. I was playing Sweden. I wanted to make it look a bit better than the Minecraft axe, but I ended up making the handle a lot more thicker. I wanted to make it like a bearded axe, but that didn't work out because I had limited space to work with. And now the next thing I would work on is the hoe, which kind of ended up looking like a scythe, honestly. Either way, I implemented the hoe in the game by writing a few codes, and now it would do hoe stuff. And not getting mine out of the gutter, it would do the Minecraft hoe stuff. So, now the next thing I would do is look for a battle axe. This music slaps again. Looking for battle axe, I found the Skyrim battle axe, which honestly is the best battle axe model that I would have found in the internet. The other models besides this were kind of like meh, but this one I thought I would be able to make, but boy, it was hard to make this. So I basically started by making a base, basically creating the skeleton on which I would be able to work on. And not gonna lie, I'm really proud of myself that I was able to make it this good. I'm not that good at art, but I was able to make it this good, so proud of myself for this one. So basically made the framework and started laying the colors over it, and just looking at where the bevel ends and where I should add shades as well. And after all that was done, I found that it had engravings, so I tried my best to make engravings and kind of gave up in the middle way, and added the tip there and added basically the wood handle for it. It, not gonna lie, it actually looks very awesome. So here's the thing. I wanted to make it as slow as possible because this was one of the most powerful weapons. The hoe is a meme item basically. I wanted to make it very, very powerful. But this one, I wanted to keep it slightly balanced, so it does 12 damage, but it only has 1 attack speed. So once you hit it, taking it back and hitting it again while dealing the same amount of damage would take some time. So it took a bit of time to figure that out, so I just started swinging it around, looking for my next target, and I found Mr. Sheep. I don't know why I have rushy necks all of a sudden. And I killed him. It has a huge knockback, that's a side effect. I would say it's a good side effect. So all of my items were now in the game, so now all that was left is to create the loot for the blocks. Loot generation. I had to create a loot table. Okay, so a loot table. A loot table basically provides the game, just tells the game, hey, this item, if the player breaks it, drops these things. It has a pool of items. It may drop 1, it may drop 2, but it will drop these items. It tells the game that and the game just does the same thing as the code tells it to. So the next thing I had to do is basically tell the game to do that using a data generator, because I did not want to write multiple JSON files for multiple blocks. So I basically added a new line in the data generator and created a loop table just using IntelliJS function to import all the functions and methods, override methods, and I just created a class within a class to just let it know that so it would extract all the known blocks and add the loot table. So I just went the simple way. If you block the silver ore, it would drop itself, the block's item. So if you drop the silver block, it will drop the block itself. So I didn't want to add multiple because it would take a lot of... I looked into the loot table generation file, and apparently it takes a lot of coding to get to it. So I kinda skipped over it and just made the blocks drop themselves. I would manage the rest in the recipe file while generating the recipe. So here I'm just coding stuff you don't need to know. If you know, I would probably post the code on GitHub. If you want, just let me know. And I ran it and I broke it into 8 more, so it gave me nothing. I would have so many miles, they're dead right now. But I don't wanna. Alright, so I just ran back to where I had placed all the blocks before and just placed them and got a netherite pick actually. Yeah, that's a bit of an overkill, but the harvest level is max. I think the harvest level is same as diamonds, so you would need at least an iron pick to break these. So I broke the netherite pick and I got the item, so I was happy. So the next thing I want to do was create the recipes. And for the recipes, I just used the basic function and imported the file, imported the methods, and went into the class file and just copied the items that were already there. Like for the sword, for the smelting, I copied the same for iron and kind of modified it to match my own. For the swords and all, I copied the iron sword, the iron axe, iron hoe, and everything, and kind of made adjustments accordingly. So for this one, for the cooking, I kind of studied it in the main method. I had to go ahead and get how much experience it would give me for cooking it and how much time it would take. So basically, I had to create 2 of these, one for the furnace and one for the furnace and one for the blast furnace. So smelter, I think it's called. So blast furnace. So I had to create a recipe for blasting as well as forging. So I did that and added a few more recipes, just as I said, looking at the original file and copying everything. The next, okay, which one is it? My eyes deceive me. Okay. Okay, the next one I added was the silver sword. Yeah, the pattern was, I had an axe pattern there. I edited it. The next one I added was the gilded sword. So it required gold on the outside, iron in the middle, and so the next thing I did was to create the recipe for the silver hoe, which required a nether star. You know, it's a bit overpowered, so it seemed fair at the time. Ow, my glasses. Ow, these glasses suck. Ah. Alright, so as I added all the recipes, now I had to add another recipe so that I would get like a silver block. If I would get like 9 silver ingots if I place a silver block in the crafting table. So after implementing all that, I ran Minecraft, and here are the end results. Sorry, my voice is not. Here are the end results. Alright, so I kinda, like old school Minecraft YouTubers used to do, I kinda created this whole wall full of recipes. That was my childhood, watching Dan TDM and all the other guys do this. So basically here's me just showcasing that you can get iron ingots. And I broke the crafting table. I have a question for God. Why? Alright, either way, after looking for a new crafting table, I don't know why I'm rushing all of a sudden again. And so I could have actually just run along the wall, since I had already placed all the recipes there. But my dumbass decided to show. That's how you create an iron sword, silver sword, 2 silver ingots, basically a sword, but replace the iron or the other stuff with silver. And for the gilded sword, you would place 2 golds on the sides, just like boots, and a stick at the bottom, and 2 iron. So that would give you a gilded sword, basically Gilded means covered with gold, not silver. So I think covering with silver is also called gilding, right? I think I could have done that, but it would have not looked that good. So for the battle axe, I kind of went overboard a whole ass block. Because hear me out, it's a heavy weapon. It would all make sense, right? Because it's a very overpowered weapon. It would be sensible to at least add a restriction. You would at least need a lot of silver to get that overpowered weapon, even though it's super slow. So after that, I decided to create a silver sword again. You know, because I wanted to have all my mod items. I wasn't creative mode. I could have already gotten them, but you do you, me. That is a weird thing to say. Alright, so the next thing I did was to show the recipe for the hoe, which, it requires another star. I don't know what I was thinking. It looks like a scythe more than a hoe. I think scythes are also basically related to farming, so I think it makes sense, right? So the next thing I did was to create the axe, which was basically same as a normal axe, but a single silver block on the behind. For this little knobby part on the behind there. So that's basically all the recipes I created, all the items that I had created in the whole 2 days, all the textures and everything. That's how I created the silver block actually. Alright, so it took 2 days to stream all of this, and I think I will keep on doing it. So I would really like to make the mods that you guys want to be made into mods. It would also give me a chance to try my hand on how to make proper mods, and you guys would also get the mods you wanted. So if you want, I can also publish this mod after it's finished. This week I'll probably finish it with the ore spawning, as well as I would add a child entity like a smithing block, so you can actually make the silver stuff on the smithing blocks, a different block to create my own items. So yeah, if you want a mod to be created, just let me know down in the comment. I do not know how people do this, so let me know down in the comments below, and I will create it for on stream. I will be streaming, I think, 4 days a week, because I don't want to do it every day. On this channel, I thought of doing Twitch, but it didn't work out that well, and I think generally doing this sort of content is really good on YouTube rather than on Twitch. So I think I will be streaming here from now on. So just let me know what mod you want to be made, and I will do it on a stream. Just join me on the stream, and if you have not subscribed already, please click that button so you know when I stream and when I post videos. So yeah, if you want any mods, and I'm also currently studying Unity on my own. So yeah, I would like to improve upon this and start making games that you want. Even though that might sound like a bit of a big situation, but I would probably take a month for a game. I would still require like 2 months to completely learn Unity. I'm basically learning 2D. 3D I'll learn on stream, as I usually do. And so yeah, that's it. If you want to see all those, please click subscribe, and if you liked it, just let me know by leaving a like. So yeah, as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.